そんな毎日だった僕の前に現れた君はどうしたって住めないままだきっぴなこの街の坂にどうやって理由を大事なんだ全部聞こえだけはいいけれど向こう側から突如現れて気づけば連れて行かれてしまいそうな僕ら手放すことに怯えて君は今日もステイ君は今日もステイあなた方にはお世話になった覚えはないが何かと言いたいそんな顔していますが目に映るものがここにあるもの全てが偽物でした情にかけたって棒に振ったって今に始まるせいぜい舌を噛んでそこで黙っていれば想定通りだったといえばそうになるが感傷的だった君らしくはないがそんな表情が一瞬僕の目には美しく映ってましたずっとどこかであなたに憧れその度自分を失いかけていました本物を超えろいれば君は今日もステイ失いかけていました本物を超えろビビれば君は今日もステイ君は今日もステイ君は今日もステイ
Greetings, everyone. It is another week setting in the Osumania long note tournament. I love putting the long notes, the long into the long note tournament. Introduction, as usual, I am Pachoage. I will be showcasing this beautiful Mappool with someone who has been contributing a lot in the Mappool as well. I will name him right now. Chu, how are you?
Hi, Batu. It's always a pleasure to be in commentating once again. I'm doing pretty well. I'm really excited for this map pool. We're going to see some really, really great maps this time. I'm really proud of how round 32 went out.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been like discussing back and forth in the past few weeks. Like I remember, like already for the round of 64, I remember like we had like 3, 4, maybe even 5 drafts, and we're discussing a lot about difficulty. And with hindsight, we saw some beautiful performances being dished out by just everyone. And I feel like, given all of the very, very high scores and high standards set by all the players, I almost feel like round 64 is almost too easy.
That being said, round 32 is definitely going to be a notch up from round 64. And that being said, let's get right into our first pick of the pool, which is going to be, surprise, surprise, Mario Paint by Eclipse.
Yeah, it's gonna be Mario Paint by Fullerene, the another difficulty, and that is gonna be full long notes. Be careful. Just kidding. That's just it's just the Eclipse coordination pick. It might be a map that some of you might know, but well, it is a song that everyone knows basically. But it is not Delay. Thank God.
Yeah, I mean, funny Dan map aside, like this map will test your coordination. Like right now, it's not so hard, but it's really in that second half where your fingers will start to be burning.
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, this is already quite challenging. Like, those inverses, this is 155 BPM, and this requires already a fair amount of focus. If you're having trouble with this triple inverse, know that you can actually full inverse it, and it will just work if you're having some mind blocks on it.
Yeah, I mean, the 3-column pattern isn't so difficult because it's just like 1/2 snaps, but again, I'd be on the lookout for the second half of this map where it really starts to ramp up in difficulty. Like right now, it's not so hard.
Yeah, if you want to compare it to the previous round of 64 pick, Disco Kawaii, this is a fair amount more involved. This is I feel like this is way more like focus draining and almost kind of mental stamina draining kind of pick.
This is a very, very significant step up from round of 64, by the way.
Yeah, we're definitely looking into getting people to miss and drop a lot of accuracy.
Yeah, and if you're a coordination player who can act these slow releases, then this file is something you'll want to look at because it's chock full of coordination-oriented releases.
Yeah, like the snaps are fairly straightforward actually. There's no like major staggers on 1/3 or 1/12 or even 1/7 for some wild pick or something. So people who are actually good at coordination, like straightforward coordination, might actually look to ace this or even protect this. Like this is kind of the accuracy for some people.
Yeah, it's still like absolutely ridiculously hard to coordinate. But with that being said, let's move on to the second coordination pick, which is Synchronica Airline.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a fair amount more release oriented, and it has even some shield elements here and there. This is very all rounded as a coordination pick.
Yeah, this one is kind of going to test more of your more staggered releases as you kind of see some, I hold a note on a different column, and then right after that, I release on the original column. So it's kind of gonna test more releases like that. So it's more tech-oriented, I would say.
Yeah, it's slightly technical oriented, and I mentioned those shields that you're gonna see in the main ki, in the main chorus. Those are very, very choke prone, and this is definitely a step up compared to things like Tokyo Ghetto. Yeah, see, this one, starting with a hand and then a shield. Yeah, definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, and it is really, really hard to do well on those releases. Like, I can FC this easily, but it's really gonna be all about those staggers.
Yeah, this is also a fair amount shorter than Tokyo Ghetto, for example, so not as much consistency to be needed on this one, but definitely a fair amount of focus, because this is fairly intensive in terms of density compared to the around a 64 coordination. So we're definitely minding the difficulty gap, minding the difficulty curve already, going from round 64 to round 32. But yeah, this break is not much of a break at all. Like, you still gotta be mindful of those releases. And let me take a look at them. Okay, the third coordination is gonna be even more release oriented, actually. So this is kind of more in the middle of the pack in terms of coordination versus releases, slow releases, that is.
Yeah, this one is it's not too long. It's got some tech-oriented things. It's got some jacks, some speed. Overall, it's kind of in the middle between Mario Paint and this next map, which is something that you may have seen. It's going to be my map for pop culture. So this is kind of going to test your consistency sort of releases. It's about 3.5 minutes, a little bit less than that, actually. But you'll see what this is about.
Yeah, shoutouts to Marion. Marion does some really fun stuff, and pop culture was kind of an old banger I discovered back in the day. It's just a mashup of many popular songs. That yeah, beautiful rendition by Chu here. That's just good job on this one, mate.
Yeah, this map, it's being used in a couple of national tournaments, most recently Philippines national tournament. But it's definitely one of my better maps.
Okay, so people were asking about the lineup in terms of categories, and I kind of want to look at how we laid out round 64, because it's definitely different. In round 64, we had 3 coordination picks, 2 technical picks, 2 wildcard picks, and 3 density picks. This time, in round 32, we're looking at 3 coordination picks, 3 technical picks, 3 wildcard picks, and 3 density picks. So very balanced altogether. And back to the pick that is pop culture. So you can see have a little bit of an inverse at 125 BPM. So that's definitely like mentally training to me in terms of focusing, accuracy, and combo as well to some extent.
Yeah, and the thing about this, the way that this is mapped, there's gonna be some sections that look like density, but you have to release at the right time when the density ends. That's kind of also what this is really about.
Yeah, kind of an opinion of mine. It might be kind of a hot take, quote unquote, but slow inverses is coordination requiring, whereas fast inverses is actually rightfully in the realm of density. That is the way I personally think about inverses. But and we've had a lot of discussion among long note pullers, and the long note meta is something to be it's something worth discussing among themselves. And you're also free to take part in this discussion. Actually, we have a Mappool feedback channel where we can actually kind of discuss these developments, and that's gonna shape also the way we pull long notes in the future in regular tournaments.
Yeah, I mean, we've got most of this and coming rounds finalized, but we will listen to changes as we will listen to feedback as we move along in this tournament. And so, as you can see right now, the song is kind of just wrapping up. It's got some more release shenanigans, but nothing too different from what we saw earlier. It's just kind of that for 3 minutes. It's really going to test your consistency.
Yeah, like people who are combo monsters might want to look into this, and like if you are able to kind of tune your brain into just chaining this map, if this map just vibes with you, might want to look into Protect.
Yeah, this song is very, very vibey, and that's kind of why I wanted to step this. But with that being said, let's move out of the coordination category and into our technical picks with a song that may be familiar to some people from Podium 4. This is Kawaii Catgirl GIF.png. This is not the SV version. This is a brand new map by How to Play LN.
Yes, absolutely. Like, I was gonna make a joke, like, this is the LNSV pick, and this is the way we think about technical. But no, this is a custom map by How to Play LN. This is why the overlay is not updating, because, well, it doesn't work with customs.
Yeah, so maybe a little bit about this map. It's gonna test your burst control. You're gonna have some light inverse with some bursts. Going to have just sort of these 140 BPM patterns all along. And yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky, some of the bursts, but it's not so bad.
Yeah, this is, I think this is the first pick where you're going to see actually technical dumps, like dump interpretations of sounds, and dumps in technical picks might I'm gonna tease you some picks like from round of 16 and onwards. Technical dumps will become a common thing in future pools.
Yeah, so this is only the tip of the iceberg if you want more of these sorts of technical dumps. Already you're starting to see a little bit of speed being tested, but it's not really speed because these bursts aren't that sustained.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can see how this is better. This is very rolly, but like the impact, the rise itself, like the beginning of the long note might be rolly itself, but the releases, you gotta take care of these releases. Like, just de-coordinate the rise from the releases. Just a lot of things to think about in the moment, but not really that taxing in terms of physicality.
Yeah, it's not really a physicality pick. I mean, a lot of physicality picks coming out later, but this one is just going to be more how well can you transition in and out of these bursts.
But yeah, for some people who might be surprised at the step up from round 64 to round 32, yeah, this is the kind of difficulty step up we're looking for, and I just want to say right now, round 64 to round 32 is like not that much compared to round 32 to round 16, because we're gonna get some eliminations in the losers brackets. And
yeah,
if people are gonna go away, then we gotta step things up.
Keep your eyes peeled for more difficulty in round 16, because that is going to be brutal compared to what you maybe expect. And with that being said, let's get into our second technical pick, which is going to be custom by Logan636.
Yeah, shoutouts to Logan, who is most likely watching this right now. Beautiful, beautiful custom, and a long note interpretation of a flashbulb song is something I haven't seen many times before, and like you usually see the flashbulb getting mapped for actual Rise technical picks, but this is a flashbulb long nose technical pick, and you can see where we are going in terms of creativity.
Yeah, so about this map, it's going to test patterns similar to what you may have seen in Cthulhu. Only this time it's not going to be as dense. So as you can see, there's going to be like patterns that may like remind you of Cthulhu. You know, there's some, I don't really know how to describe it, but you know, it's got some of the bursts you see in Kawaii Cat Girl, and maybe there's some like, you know, some jump bloods.
Yeah, absolutely. Those gluts, I think Clematis from Rana 64 was just like a baby precursor to this kind of quote-unquote timing hell. We called Clematis kind of a baby timing hell. This is kind of ramping it up already, and this is looking to be ramping up pretty fast in the rounds to come. So just already use this map as a training point and use like similar maps to work your way through.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really say there's any one part that's really difficult. Just that there's, you know, difficult parts all around. It's kind of what you might see in a flashbulb song with a lot of bursts.
Oh yeah, look at that right-handed kind of almost inverse, like one hand inverse. Can you imagine? It is kind of chokeable in terms of accuracy, so might want to maybe look into a mirror if you're really that uncomfortable with the right-handed inverse.
Yeah, so that's going to be our second technical pick, and now we're going to move on to technical number 3, which is a song by Stability. It's going to be Garland Saga. So this one is probably going to be a little bit easier than the other ones for you guys, but we still thought it was appropriate for this round. It does kind of, you know, test some of the more bloody patterns that you saw in mLN, along with some releases that you may not have seen in Kawaii Cat Girl J.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is kind of a sequel, kind of a more truer sequel to Clematis from Rana 64, and yeah, this is less, I guess, disruptive than Milan. Milan has had a lot of bursts in between those gluts, and kind of sets itself to be kind of in the middle between Kawaii Cat Girl and well, Garland Saga that you're seeing right now.
Yeah, so it's not as flashy as the other 2 technical picks, but it definitely still packs a punch. Like, we're going to see some of these sort of coordination elements sneak up in this technical pick, along with some of the mini jacks. And again, like Hatu said, this is going to be like very similar to what you saw in Round 64, but with Clematis. The main difference is that maybe this song is on the easier end of the pool compared to Clematis being one of the harder songs of the pool, but we still think it's an appropriate step up from Round 64.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, look at those anchors. There's a lot of them, and they actually last the whole way. Like, Clematis was very concentrated in the KIs, in the drops, but this just does not let up. This is kind of almost a technical stamina kind of thing. You just have to keep your focus for the entire duration of the map. Yeah,
this is going to test your consistency since there aren't really any breaks like in the other 2 technicals.
Yeah, but thankfully, this is only 1 minute and 58 seconds long. I do not know what some players would do if this was like even like 30 seconds longer. Anyways, that is it for the technical category, and
Wildcard 1 is being used by Team Momentum.
Oh my god, I wish Ting was here. Okay, Ting is here to actually react to this. Like I saw some sneaky chats from Ting like a few weeks ago. Like Ting was saying that this is like semi-finals material, and I was laughing
like,
inside because this is round 32.
This is round 32 for us. You're not going to be going that easy on it.
It's actually easy for. I mean, yeah, the round of 32. This is where we're going, basically.
Yeah, I would say this is one of the hardest picks of the pool. I mean, people are still going to eat up since it's density. I mean, it's density-oriented wildcard. There's still some releases, so I would say that this is probably most comparable to China Dress from last round. So maybe here's a formal admission that China Dress should have been placed in the wildcard category. But that being said, this still tests a lot of speed elements, density elements, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like this map has a fair amount of variety in it. Like there are a few bursts here and there. There's even inverse at 180 BPM. It's a short section, but it is very, very chokeable. I miss every time I play this.
Yeah, and some of these are actually kind of hard to coordinate because it's speed, but there's also kind of these releases that are going on, and you kind of have to balance these two as you're playing the song.
Yeah, this last section is going to be a fair amount more density-oriented, actually. Like, right now you see a lot of releases, and those releases you really have to pay attention to. Yeah, the full density section is going to be in the last quarter, and that last quarter is like basically the occasion for physical players to catch up in terms of accuracy.
Yeah, I mean, the last quarter is going to be like, jump stream with some elongated elements in it. Players should eat it up if they have the capability, and if not, then they will suffer a little bit. But, some nice elegant jump stream to end the song.
Yeah, this is the density section I was talking about. And this is fairly straightforward, and yeah, that makes the that takes the fair amount. There's a fair amount of note count in that last quarter, so you can actually catch up some accuracy that way. That's how you have to think about it in terms of strategy and in terms of training. Yeah,
and now we're going to be going on to our second wild card, which is going to be Marionette by KN Melancholy.
Yeah, also known as Akatsumi-chan, one of our precious mappers, one of the newer mappers in this roster. Remember, Akatsumi-chan also provided us with the tiebreaker from round 64. This is their second map in the long notes tournament as a whole, and this is very short. This is 1 minute and 39 seconds, but this backs a punch. Like, this is fairly dense as a wildcard pick, but this has releases everywhere.
Yeah, so this one is going to test less of your speed and a little more of your coordination. And as you can see, the releases are a little more egregious than the ones in you. And that's going to really be the case as we move on in this map.
Yeah, absolutely. You see some one-handed interactions as well, and people who are bad at one-handed interactions, and especially involving a lens and one-handed staggers, might want to look into maybe banning this one, actually.
Yeah, I would say it's maybe a easier version of MWC's Stage 4, if you've seen that. That is critical cannibal by Reveal. So there's going to be a lot of sort of these one-hand things, as Pod was mentioning. And you really have to... It really does function as almost a density pick, but, density of releases along with density of holds.
Yeah, so basically China Dress. It's what you're saying.
I would say China Dress is a little more density-oriented, but...
Yeah, I mean, I mean, Prayer was also kind of density oriented as a wildcard, like previously in the Rana 64. So maybe that is a stand. That is kind of the sequel for as far as Prayer goes. But we are gonna see a third wildcard, and that is gonna be another custom map. And I just noticed the replay name.
Future reveal, bro. Okay, so we got another Atlantic song. We got another Logan 636 map. Let's get right into this. This is 3.5 minutes of pure bliss.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this was meant to be a qualifier at first, and then we decided, yeah, this is kind of too easy, and so we decided to convert it into around a 32.
And let me tell you, this map bangs. It's probably one of my favorite maps in this pool. It's just, again, 3.5 minutes of pure enjoyment.
Yeah, absolutely. This is kind of more toned down in terms of speed and density. Like, in terms of wildcard picks, you had Me and You, which was 180 BPM with a lot of fast density, fast LN speed. We had Marionette, which was kind of unrelenting, short but unrelenting. This has some downtime and kind of lets you breathe with some release and some coordination parts. But overall, this is very, very all-rounded as a map, and this tests wildcard consistency on basically all skill sets involved.
Yeah, as you can see, there's going to be, some slightly unintuitive holds. I wouldn't really say they're too unintuitive. It's really trying to hit that wildcard consistency aspect. None of the releases are that egregious, but you have to hold it steady for 3.5 minutes. So if you're comfortable with it, then it should be pretty smooth sailing. Otherwise, you may get destroyed.
Yeah, also something I want to mention about the drop is that while it's density oriented, Logan actually introduced some like one quick 1/6 burst inside of there, kind of as side tweak bait and also kind of a switch up, and also to introduce some technical aspects to this wildcard. So it makes it all the more all-rounded and just testing every single thing in the book. Oh yeah, that's true. It was meant to be the TV for like it went from qualifier to potential Rana 64 tiebreaker to just Rana 32. It's just kind of crazy how pulling works.
Yeah, and I don't think it tests enough skills to be Rana 64 tiebreaker. Well, I mean, I think we just didn't really think it had that. I think it fit that we thought it fit better here than in Rana 64.
Yeah, especially since we already had another map in mind for Rana 64. It's just kind of how the cookie crumbles, I guess. But yeah, going into another drop that is fairly density oriented with, again, those bursts that you have to be mindful of.
I mean, it's more density oriented than Marionette for sure, but you still have to be a little bit mindful of these releases. But I mean, overall, it still should be pretty autopilotable.
Yeah, but still mindful of those 1/6 bursts as well. Just don't want to choke on rice on a long note map. I think those roll pretty well. Like, I can do these myself, and I'm not a very physical player, so just don't worry about it.
Yeah, and again, this is repeating a theme that we've seen for the other maps. It's definitely a notch up from round 64, but it's only going to get harder from this round.
Yeah, that's closing it for the wildcard category. And if you thought that Me and You was dense, or Marionette even was dense, look at we're gonna have a look at the actual density density section. Here we go. Second, how to play LN custom. That is gonna be a 7x3, and if you were not a fan of time signatures in the qualifiers, then I have bad news for you.
I mean, so this one is a little more tame than unidentified frequency. I mean, obviously Toronto 32, it's slower, but it's also got a more intuitive time signature, so you can kind of just time it a little more easily if you're maybe an inverse fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you can see those snaps are dead. It's just very simple snaps, very easy to reason about. But yeah, the density on this is kind of, I guess it's kind of middle. And I think this might be like the more straightforward option from our density options. So this might be the step up for Sailing Force, if I'm correct.
Yeah, this is kind of just going at you for 2 minutes. It's just some density, some coordination. I mean, not really any coordination at all, but only coordination that comes up with regard to density. But it is, like Future Raver, going to be a bit of a consistency test.
Yeah, like it is a little bit more confusing to grasp at first. If you're used to like 4/4 time signatures and just maybe accenting some notes on the main beats, if you're kind of a rhythmical player, like I am really. So just kind of figuring out this rhythm might require some actual training on this one. Just play this a few times just to get your bearings in the actual match.
Yeah, and this isn't faster than the round of 64 picks, but what it will require is more control. We're really trying to emphasize that control aspect as we get into these density picks.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, that is going to be it for this pick. And the second density is actually going to be another previous qualifier that was in the Brazilian tournament. And that is an edit of Viden. I don't really know how to pronounce this, to be honest. But thank you, Gilamesiat, for providing us with this beautiful edit. We edited some short long notes and some release aspects of this density-oriented qualifier.
Yeah, so this is going to kind of test some of your. It's a little bit speedier than 7x3 and the next LN map that we'll show, but yeah, I would say like this is kind of a speed-oriented sort of density.
But yeah, this is not like very fast. Like, I'm not gonna lie, me and you might be the fastest pick you might want to look at if you're really into LN speed. But yeah, this one has a fair amount of density to it. Like you see those triple, almost inverses, very beautiful interactions charted by Gilamesiat here.
Yeah, if you compare this to me and you, you'll see that this kind of tests more of your stream density. I'm not sure how to say it, but like me and you kind of test your density in a way that's like more bloody, maybe comparable to what you saw in the tactics. But this one is definitely more like full body in terms of its density.
Yeah, absolutely. You want your arms, your legs to your long notes. Can you imagine like long notes with legs? This has the full legs. I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but yeah, there's not much to talk about the actual pick. It just goes again like this and just ends the pick.
Yeah, and I would still say this is probably one of the easier picks in the pool. So I'm probably expecting a lot of picks from players who just want to play it safe.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. This might be a very popular protect and very popular pick. Maybe not even a popular protect, maybe just a popular pick in general.
Yeah, I'd say it's one of the safer picks in the pool.
Yeah, because you're gonna see the last density. That's gonna be subject to some protects bans or maybe a lot of discussion.
It's a map that I'm proud of. it's evil. Oh, this replay is by me, so I'm also like really proud of this score. So
Yeah,
this is going to be Quantum by Hope Crew. So I'm going into Newgrounds and mapping some more LN.
Yeah, shoutouts to Newgrounds. We have a lot of music available that has been available from the 2000s. Like, I'm a boomer. I remember Newgrounds like it was just my childhood. It was literally my childhood. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, I'm gonna let you talk about this since you mapped it.
Yeah, so if you're an inverse player, this is going to be paradise for you because it's basically the hardest that you can make 166 BPM inverse without having it full element. And really, this map is all about finger control. It's not so hard to read, it's just jump stream, and the releases are really intuitive, but it's really all about that finger control.
Yes, absolutely. Like you can see, this is not full inverse at all, and the more we go, the more you're going to notice we're actually kind of shying away from full inverse.
Section, but we're going back into some more density, and again, this is a pretty short map, but it definitely packs a punch.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think it's like almost TV size, but in terms of density, this is like Marionette. This is even denser than Marionette. Like this deserves to be in the density category, like definitely. And I foresee this to be one of the like more polarizing picks in terms of density and physicality. And
yeah. So that's going to be it for the regular pool. Let's go on to the tiebreaker. Introducing Palette, which is going to be a collaboration between How to Play LN and Polytetral.
Yeah, I want to shout out all of the customs that we have been seeing so far. Like in round of 64, we only ever saw one custom, and that was my custom of Sailing Force. But here we actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this tiebreaker is also custom, so 6 custom maps in this pool, and you're gonna see more. This is not the end of it.
Yeah, so not much to say in this beginning, but it's kind of just the warm-up for the harder sections. So this is really gonna just be a potpourri of things.
Yeah, this song is actually so good. Like I would love to listen to this while waiting for rolls and protects and bans and so on. It's just very soothing. Not very like doom, end of the world tiebreaker situation, but it's gonna be kind of a common theme with long note tiebreakers. It's just kind of fits. But yeah, right now a lot of coordination, kind of a coordination verse going on right here, and as a general rule, we have our tiebreakers be kind of wildcard oriented, because wildcard is the best category to incorporate all types of long notes. So kind of try to be exhaustive about it, but like being exhaustive is like not the end all of oh yeah, this chorus. I completely forgot about this chorus.
So you know how Kawaii Cat Girl Drift kind of had these bursty release sort of things? I think this one is kind of similar, but it's really trying to test more things. As you can see, the inverse is probably a little bit harder than the ones that you see in Kawaii.
Yeah, as a general rule, I think the tiebreakers are gonna end up between the targeted round and the next one. So this is like kind of in the middle between round of 32 and round of 16. Like maybe just round of 32 oriented in my opinion, just from personal playtesting.
Yeah, so right now we're going to be building up into another chorus, and then after that will be the solo, which I can't wait for you guys to see. And then we'll be closing out the song.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the second verse is very similar to the first one. It's just not much. A small break as well, just to kind of relax a little bit. Wow, this song is just so good.
Yeah, and also this song is like what 6,000 hits, I think, maybe 5,000.
Yeah, you can see like we are 2/3 of the way in, and the combo is like already 3,800 notes in. So the more we go into tiebreakers, the more likely you're gonna get one of the more fated 5-digit combo mark.
Here comes the solo that I was talking about. And if you are in a 4-4 situation, this will be absolute enjoyment for you.
Yeah, just go into it, listen to that guitar, and like as a player you cannot afford to just let out your focus, but yeah, as a spectator, if any of the players actually end up in the tiebreaker situation, that is going to be exhilarating to watch. Like,
yeah,
Jesus, end.
Now we're at 5,000, and it's only going to be going on for more. We have one more course to get through, and this map really is going to be a consistency tester.
But yeah, just I want to shout out Polytetral and How to Play LN so much on this. They have done a great job on this tiebreaker.
I think they've just done a great job with the tournament in general. You'll definitely see more customs by them. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, this is not the last. This is definitely not the last of them. Just general MVPs. And yeah, I hope those of you who are watching it can really appreciate those pulls as well, and I hope that is going to also translate into gameplay as well. It is one thing to see those maps in action on the screen. It is another thing to actually boot the game and get your fingers on those maps.
Yeah, and I think this map is something that I'm just so proud of, like Polytetral and How to Play LN4. This is really a masterpiece. So I guess that's going to be it for round of 32, and now maybe we're going to be pulling up our schedule, or not schedule, but bracket.
Yeah, I don't know if we have it available, but you can actually check the challenge, and some of the matchups might actually start getting more and more scary. Like we already had very scary matchups. I think we had one tiebreaker in round of 64, but this week is going to be a little bit more terrifying. Like Sun Apple Frostno, Lamy Sudden Death. Lamy has been a new name in the community, but being able to actually rival names like Sudden Death is actually worth mentioning. Aishteru versus Adam Akavis, that's a Singaporean matchup. Aura Walmart is also kind of interesting. And,
yeah, all I know is that top 32 is really stacked, so I'm expecting fireworks.
Yeah, I actually think some of the more tight and challenging matchups might be in the losers bracket. Like, oh my god, I don't even know where to start. Like Imperial Trinity Talk Mewtwo might actually be one of those matchups I'm looking forward to. And
yeah.
Some big names actually fell into the losers bracket. Like we had like a few upsets because, well, LN accuracy and LN early game is actually kind of a polarizing skill set.
I mean, we also had some win by defaults, but I mean, what can you do about that? This is just going to be an exciting week all around, and I guess I really don't have much to say other than that.
yeah, I think it's gonna be. I think we can actually wrap it up now. It's getting pretty late here. We don't want to hold you for much more longer than that. Don't want to keep you guys from actually training the Mappool. We have worked so much on this Mappool, and we actually looking forward to many people, not only the players but also spectators, to actually try those maps.
Yeah, I'm just really excited. But I guess that's it for this round. We'll see you guys next week when the matches happen.
Yeah, take care.